Hello and welcome to another episode of Neptune Novelties. I hope that for the next few moments we get to let go of whatever our current life is and enjoy a few moments of focusing on books, the fictional world, where we can get lost in instead. But first, I want to tell you that in what atmosphere am I recording this episode. I actually turned off the lights and I lit a candle and I have a good drink in my hand, and I'm going to be talking about romance books. So if you want, you can do that as well. Light a candle, lay down if you want. If you don't, you can sit but still be relaxed. Wrap whatever you would like to have for the next few moments. And you can actually see this as some sort of a meditation. You can also close your eyes if you want while you take deep breaths. The subject of today's episode is actually books by Emily Henry. In fact, I actually read 3 books of hers: Happy Place, People We Meet on Vacation, and Book Lovers. So those are the ones that I will be talking about in this episode. My favorite one was Happy Place. Absolutely, no questions asked. It was one of my favorite reads actually, and that's the book that I would advise to everyone to start with if you want to read Emily Henry, or if you are getting into this kind of contemporary romance, things like that. Then the next one will be People We Meet on Vacation. And unfortunately, I absolutely did not enjoy Book Lovers one bit, even though I heard so many great things about it, and you know, the name is amazing and the characters, a book lover, so I'm supposed to like that person in that storyline, right? Wrong. I did not like it at all. It felt like it could have been like a very short fanfiction on Wattpad. That's most likely a draft and would be better if it's worked on. If you haven't read Emily Henry books before, she writes very lighthearted stories, and you would read those books if you wanna unwind and read something that you can enjoy. You can look at it from like learning point of views, but it's more enjoyable when it's not. You know, you just see a couple of characters who are handling being a grown-up and everything else in their lives, and they kind of untangle their own emotions with the people around them. Now that I covered why I didn't like Book Lovers, we can talk about why I did like Happy Place and why would I advise you to read that. First, I think the name of the book is absolutely genius because, you know, we all have a happy place. Now, it could be a real physical place, maybe one beach that you really find peace whenever you go there, or maybe a really cozy coffee shop that you enjoy going there on the weekends and order one special thing that you always like, or maybe a specific mountain and nature where you enjoy going hiking there. Or maybe your happy place is your bed because you love sleeping. Now those are the physical places where it could be your happy place. Now your happy place can also be a person. Maybe it's your pet that you wish they were immortal. Maybe it's a family member that you really feel like your life is better with them. They make you happier. Maybe it's a romantic partner that you feel like your souls have matched in the best way possible and they make everything better for you. And maybe if you really know yourself, you are your own happy place. So at first, at least from my point of view with all of the things that I said, the name of the book is really genius. And what's the story about? This story is actually a second chance romance. It's about these two characters who met in college and they really tried to make it work, but they couldn't. And now they are stuck on vacation with their friends, and their friends see them as the perfect couple. So these two try to make things as easy as possible without them knowing how unhappy they actually got, which is absolutely wrong, if you're sacrificing your own personal space and your own peace of mind for what others think is absolutely unhealthy. But there are some things that are not good in real life, but makes us read about them in books, especially in romance books. And unfortunately, I once again do think that the main male character in the book deserved better than the female character in the book. And I think he's not a book boyfriend, he's a book husband. You could just tell how perfect of a husband he could be. But I also enjoy how imperfect he is, but yet the way that he shows up makes him perfect. And you can see that the happy place in the book, happy place is both a person and a place. And this is a reminder that all of these books that I'm talking about are happy endings. You can see this interesting friendship and a love story in this book that makes you wish for a happy ending for all of the characters, actually. But I was personally only rooting for the happiness of the male character. But of course, other characters, they weren't that bad, but the way that he was developed was my favorite. Let's go from this happy place to an unhappy place, people we meet on vacation. The title was a mistake because it's not about people you meet on vacation. It's about this girl named Puppy and this guy named Alex. They were two best friends who are absolutely opposites. So the book is Opposites Attract and Friends to Lovers. And she's the cool kid, apparently, and he's a homebody. They used to be close, but something happens and they stop speaking for 2 years straight. And they had this ritual where they had a vacation for 1 week together, but in one of those vacations something happens which causes this no contact situation. And Puppy, she's being true to who she is. And she also travels as a writer for a magazine, but she is unhappy about her life and she starts missing Alex. Now, to try to make things good, she contacts Alex for one last trip to Palm Springs. And the book has some flashbacks, of course, so you can get the whole idea of what and when everything happened. And again, Puppy was annoying, in my opinion, because she tries too much to be chill. So I would recommend the story because their story is interesting as the second book by Emily Henry, if you would like to read again that genre or books by her. But in general, Emily Henry's books, they're aesthetic, and like I said, they are really easy to read, and you don't need to pay attention to every single thing. You can understand how imperfectly perfect things can turn out, and if you try way too hard, it means that it's not gonna happen the way that you want it. But just because it doesn't go that way doesn't mean that something better can't happen. I think these stories prove how much of a happy ending you could get once you become comfortable with the way you feel about someone or something, and how much you should really put yourself first, and how your happiness and peace of mind should be the goal, not crazy things that you might consider. And everyone's definition of a happy place and a peaceful life is different. But one thing that I didn't really enjoy, and I believe it is a pattern in Emily Henry's books, there is way too much attachment issues between all of the characters. I don't know if you have noticed that, if you have read any of her books, but there is this really unhealthy and annoying amount of attachment issues in all of the single characters, whether they're the main character or a side character, it doesn't matter. That attachment issues kind of ruins the bigger picture for me, and I hope that I won't see that if, I read more of her books. But also the songs for the stories are chosen good though. I like the playlists and the way that the characters are really relatable to the songs that are mentioned. So if you wanna get into this genre of lighthearted romance and imperfectly perfect characters and something to enjoy and just chill at home, or maybe your book club with your friends, I think these are the orders that you should follow. Always start with Happy Place, then People We Meet on Vacation, and there's this other book, Beach Read, that would be the third one. And I don't remember the name of this girl, but I saw this thing online where this girl suggested that you start a book club with your friends and you only read books by female authors, which is a cool idea. So if you want a new hobby, I think that would be a pretty good idea. again, I don't remember her name, so shout out to her if she's listening to this. And you could put Emily Henry on that list and talk about it with your friends, whether your guy friends or girlfriends. And that was all for today. Thank you again for joining me. I hope I gave you a new perspective and something to think about, something that took your mind off of things. If you have any suggestions, you can leave it in a comment, or you can always contact me through email. Stay wild, stay soft. Laters.